Aloha and welcome, gang. We are here on a Wednesday, the Wednesdays we all love, because it's time where you do not have to just listen to me, because we know how boring that can become very quickly. And yes, I've got very loud dogs already starting. So we've got treats. Today's treat du jour is True Chews pork and chicken sausage recipe. And yes, Cassie already wants it. Cassie, you want to say hi to everyone? Say hi to, no, you want your treats. Okay, have your treats. You can have your treats. Yeah, she's being a pain in the something. So, let me go ahead. I'm going to bring up Miss Sleuth before we start saying hi to people because I know she likes to say hi to people as much as I do. So it's more fun when we have two of us up here saying hi. So hello, Miss Sleuth Mom. How you doing, my dear?
I'm doing great, Lokamai. How are you?
Good. You still have a voice after the last couple, weeks now of
Yeah,
stream?
it has. It's been several weeks. Today was day 7 of the actual trial, and of course we had, what was it, 7 or 9 days? I can't even remember of jury selection. So,
Oh,
but
yeah. Yeah,
mhm,
so it has been 2 to 3 weeks at this point.
it
And
absolutely has.
3. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah, whole time I was in Vegas, you guys were going. What I ended up doing was I was downloading a couple of I couldn't watch all of them, but a couple of the ones that I missed while I was in Vegas, I downloaded through YouTube. And I was watching them on the plane because of course I've seen almost every movie that the planes show. So at least, oh, it was frustrating. So frustrating watching. Oh my gosh.
I
Yeah.
bet.
So who do we have in chat? Yes, Cassie, you can have this. How's that? No, you're going to stare at it instead. It's more fun to stare at. So let's see. Who do we have here? I know our first in the room was our dear princess. Hello, Miss Princess. And Mystery Kehata, welcome. Sorry, I'm horrible at other languages. I barely speak English, but I hope I pronounced that correctly. And we got here she goes. Oh my God, dogs, would you guys stop? Oh wow, hi Sleuth, how you doing? Are you doing good, Sleuth? So,
Hit and
let's see.
miss.
Oh, hit and miss. There you go. And Miss Seal. Kathleen, welcome, my dear. Welcome, Kathleen. And let's see, we said hi. Oh, there's Miss Sherry. How you doing, Sherry? And let's see, Mel. Hey, Mel, how you doing? Oh, yeah, the dogs are getting noisy now. Welcome, Mel and Avery. Hello, Miss Avery. Let's see, who else we got here? I just saw Carrie. Hey, Carrie. I have a very important person in my life whose name is Carrie, but spelled just a little differently. I love that name. Okay, Sleuth, there's an omelet story. How did I miss the omelet story?
Oh my
That's
goodness, from
not
jury
fair.
selection, every single day, the judge would tell everyone that they are not basing the evidence off of things that they don't see, similar to making a Denver omelet. If you do not have the mushrooms or the ham or whatever the ingredients he named off was, and you try to put them together, if they're not all there, then you cannot make that omelet. Just like you can't do it if you don't have all of the different pieces of evidence required to
Oh
prove
my
that
God.
someone is guilty. And he told that story every single day
Every
about the
single.
Denver omelet. I probably could have said it word for word if I really wanted to, but my brain is about
Oh my
fried. But thank
God.
you everyone who came over from Gannon's case and from my channel to come visit me over here on Lokamai. You know, Ariel Sellers, Isabella Kalua is one of the most important people that we have throughout that I've covered, you know?
Yeah, yeah, totally. I was gonna say she kicked herself for that. The problem is now I gotta bring her back on. Isn't that great, Tim? So, okay, guys, who says I should bring Sleuth back on? Tim told me I had to kick her off. She kicked herself off. So she obeys rules very, very well. Now the question is, should we bring Sleuth back on to panel? It's a hard decision right there. I don't know quite what we should do. So, oh my God, Tim, I love you. I love you. Thank you. Thank you for the donation. Oh, it's such a hard decision, but I have to do this totally on my own if I don't bring her back. So, see, It's hard. It's a hard decision. Do you bring her back or do you leave her off? Or do you, of course, I love my sleuth. Bring her back. Is that it, Sherry? I got to bring, come on now. That takes all the fun out of life.
Goodness.
Okay.
I was gonna say, thank goodness for Grandma Sherry. Everybody else is just like, nah, she's gone now.
I'm going to leave her, leave
Such
her,
is
leave her,
life.
leave her. Oh my God. Now, doing this story and Sleuth, you kind of hit on it. This is the story that literally brought Sleuth and I together. This is how I
Yeah.
met Sleuth, was this story. Robbie, I love you, my dear Robbie. Love you. Mwah. And again,
This is the story.
congratulations.
Yes,
Yep.
congratulations, Robbie.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, they awesome couple there. But yeah, this was both of us were just starting on our channels and there were
Hmm.
cases that were hitting us. And this was my first story actually too. Well, your wait, what was your first story? Was it this or was it
So
Nicole?
so whenever I started my channel September 11th, or was it September 11th or September 10th? Now I gotta look. Gabby Petito went missing the next day, and Ariel Sellers went missing that same day, right? They both went missing on the
Yep.
12th of
That's
September.
right.
And Gabby Petito took off, and I'm not gonna lie, I made a couple Gabby
Mhm.
Petito videos hoping to get a little bit of subscribers because I was a brand new channel. But
Right.
my intention was, hey, I'm gonna bring light to cases that don't have anyone covering them. And so I was watching Gabby Petito get covered everywhere. I
Mhm.
mean, everyone was talking about her, including Hawaii.
Yep.
Meanwhile, there was
Exactly.
this poor child was missing, and I just so happened to hear about Ariel because there was a missionary that our church sponsors that was in Oahu, or Honolulu, actually, I think is where they were
Okay.
stationed, but
Yep.
they were talking about, pray for this missing child, and they said Isabella Kalua, and that's how I found out about them, from the radio.
Wow. 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 Yeah, I know. I remember with me, it was the same thing. I was watching everything with Gabby and nothing wrong with that. Okay. I'm so happy she had all the attention she had, but I was seeing so many others, and it wasn't just Ariel. In fact, Robbie's in chat right now. He was one of the reasons why I started this, is he was doing a video where he was talking about the indigenous and the
Mhm,
issue with so many indigenous being missing and no one was championing them.
mhm.
And I was like, wait, people need to hear these other stories. And it just so happened right at that time, I heard about Ariel. And that was my first video, also. It was like, here was a girl who literally, as the bird flies, is less than five, well, less than probably 3 miles away from my house. And now, if I have to drive, it's much further because of mountains. But I was seeing all this, and it wasn't even just on YouTube that no one knew about it. There was very little information in Hawaii about her. And
Yeah.
that's what was so sad
There
about the
was
whole thing.
little, very little information. I was shocked because, okay, so almost immediately, right, I enter into this Facebook group for Ariel, and whenever I joined it, there was less than 40 people, and, like, 20 of them were just from missing communities. It wasn't even people from Oahu. And that is how, like, we took that group and we blew it up.
Mhm.
There's,
Yep.
almost 3,000 people in it now, which that's a lot considering that her little town that she went missing from, Waimanalo, is only,
15.
5,000 or so people.
Yep.
And so we really, really beat the ground, so to speak. Her
No,
family,
that's
like, really just pushing and pushing and pushing her information out there.
and that's what it needed. I mean, and one of the things I've said, and I want to reiterate this before we get into too much on the story. I had in the thumbnail, we had a big discussion about this in Discord actually. Hi, Georgia Peach. And about how, because I said, okay, when a child has failed, and this child was failed on multiple levels. Not all children are failed by the system. There are some amazing, amazing people working in the system itself. Okay, like any jobs. I work in long term care. There's some amazing nursing homes, and there's some really, excuse my language, shitty nursing homes. It's that way in everything. And unfortunately, in this case, this little girl had a lot of things that just lined up. And we need systems in place to make sure it doesn't happen again. Because unfortunately, my problem is, at least here in Hawaii, we keep having this happen.
Right.
Okay, there's a list of names. Peter Boy. Okay, stories that someday I'm going to have to tell these stories, even though they're not officially missing anymore. I need to tell you guys these because, yeah, Peter Boy, Kaitana. Okay, so many other things. And it's like, why are we not fixing what is failing? And
Ariel's case was a little bit different than the typical CPS failure I think that we see. Her case was more a result of, we're talking about this close-knit community. Everyone knows everyone. Everyone is related to everyone. Everyone is, you go to church with them, you see them at the market, you're in their diner, your auntie owns something that they have or whatever. They're all connected. And that just so happened to be the case between Ariel's caseworker and the adoptive monsters. And so I truly honestly believe that a lot of things got overlooked by the caseworker because that was her friend. That was people she knew. That was people who went to the church, And so that was, I think, a big part of that.
And that's a big part everywhere in Hawaii. We
Just
are,
no
yes,
oversight.
yeah. And we are a fairly small. I mean, I think our population is about the same as, say, San Diego, maybe a little bit larger. But everyone knows everyone or knows someone who knows everyone. There's that 6 degrees of separation thing going on here. And even me, there were times, Sleuth, you knew this, where there were times I was like, how far do I go on covering and saying things that I feel deep down? Because, oh, what if this person says this or what? It gets scary. It does get scary because there is an old boy network out here. And just so many different things happening. And I think you've got a great point. Okay, when you have people who are oversight, who are connected to people they're supposed to be overseeing, that's a recipe for disaster. And also, actually, Avery, thank you. You just made a comment there. You'd never heard of Ariel's. Let's get an idea where we are because we're going to start going into this case now. Put a 1 in chat if you know Ariel's story. Put a 2 in chat if this is a new story for you. If this is a new, missing person, true crime case, however we want to word it. 1 if you know about it, 2 if you've never heard of it before. We got a couple 2s in here. Okay, okay, perfect. So this is going to be great because what Sleuth and I have been kind of trying to do, there's some 1s here, Red Rock Sherry, Seal, Louisiana Girl. Okay, I will definitely check all that. So what I'm going to do real quickly is we have, sorry, 1 second, just,
I just,
you know what,
for Ariel.
I will try to figure out what's going on, LG. Yeah, Battissimo, it's weird. It worked on Monday, and now all of a sudden it's not working. I'll check while we're watching this next video. I'm going to try to reset something real quick on it. So what I thought we'd start with is last year, okay, when we hit the 1-year anniversary of Ariel going missing, hey, justice for Ariel. Aloha, my dear. Aloha. And a couple of our news stations did do stories, and Joe Moore actually did one kind of pulling some of the stuff together to give you guys a good base. And then from there, we'll start going through things a little, introduce you to the area of Waimanalo and actually go through some of the actual court documents that are starting to come together at this point. So let me real quickly add this. Please let me know if our volume is not working. And let me pull it up where I can see it now. Okay, and here we go. Oh, that won't work.
Was reported missing.
Yeah, okay. Okay, here we go.
Her adoptive parents remain in custody awaiting trial for her murder. But the little girl's body still hasn't been found. Her biological family is holding on to hope they'll one day be able to lay her to rest and are planning a vigil to honor her memory. Jen Boniza has more.
September 12th marks 1 year since little Isabella Kalua, also known as Ariel Sellers, was first reported missing by her adoptive parents, Lehua and Isaac Kalua. It's not the kind of anniversary anyone looks forward to.
It's way overwhelming for us. We thought we would find her really fast, but unfortunately, no, we still looking.
Ariel's disappearance gripped the state and shocked the tight-knit Waimanalo community. Hundreds came together to search for her, and even after police officially suspended search efforts, her family and community members refused to give up hope. Police arrested the Kaluas and searched their home in November of 2021. Court documents revealed Isabella was repeatedly abused and that she was allegedly killed almost a month before Lehua Kalua reported her missing. According to prosecutors, Lehua Kalua duct taped Isabella's mouth and nose and put her in a dog cage where she lost consciousness.
Everybody just broke down, you know. It's still hard. It's hard. Trying to talk about it. You know, we like to be tough, you know, and say, hey, but it's still hard. It's still hard.
They still want answers.
Where is she? Just tell us where she is so we can lay her to rest.
She says Isabella's siblings remain in the foster system, and she hasn't seen them since early summer.
I'm hoping they're doing well, getting the help that they need, the love, the communication, the affection, everything that a child needs.
The family is holding a candlelit vigil in Isabella's honor Saturday, September 17th. Log on to KH12.com for details. The Kaluas are being held without bail. They're charged with murder, hindering prosecution, and multiple counts of endangering the welfare of a minor. Their trial is set for February. Jen Boniza, KH12 News, working for Hawaii.
Okay, so that seal, definitely seal. We'll have to share that. So I think I've got Batissimo up, by the way, guys. So hey, Chris, welcome. Avery, did you cover the story also? Yeah, it's really there was a lot going on with all that. Oops, sorry, my wonderful thing keeps going on. Oh, perfect, thank you. So what I want to do next, and sorry, it'll take me just a second to get this up, is show you guys the area of Waimanalo. For those of you who are not used to Hawaii to a lot of people is usually just this chain of islands. So give you guys an idea of what we're talking about here. Okay, and then we'll definitely, I'll try to pull up pictures so you guys can see how things changed for her, because there was a dramatic difference on how she looked when she first went to, okay, as Sleuth says, the adoptive monsters, okay, to when she was the last couple pictures.
Just to preface this, Ariel's family, her mom and her dad, had a lot of issues. They still, unfortunately, continue to have issues with drugs and different things like that. They were homeless. So the girls were basically staying with a grandmother and some other aunties, depending on whose home they were at, right? And, you know, their grandma was taking care of them to the best of her ability. And her significant other had a car accident, is what I was told. And that led to the girls basically being taken from her care and put into the foster care system, hence how they ended up with the Kaluas. Unfortunately, Melanie and Adam was in prison whenever all of this happened. Melanie was mom and was out on the streets and drugs and things like that. Adam's side of the family was never contacted, to our knowledge. So that's where you end up with the whole side of the family that lives off of the island that never got the chance to take custody of these children. And so they went into the foster care system, and Melanie actually wanted them to go to the Kalua's home because there was rumor that one of her children could have been the child of one of the Kalua families. That was proven false. You know, that person was not, all of the children do belong to Adam. We did find that out through all of this. But at the end of the day, mom put them in this house because she thought that these were good people. She thought that this was a good home. And so CPS, was like, here, this is where we're going to put them. And the family was kind of like, well, okay, this is going to be okay because of the fact that he was a pastor and they had decent things, they were good, decent people, it seemed like. But the way things look are not exactly how they always are.
Yes.
They found out throughout this investigation that Sonny Kalua has assault charges for what is it? It's terroristic threats
Heuristic.
and assault. And
Yeah.
then Lehua had a drug charge at one point that she went to a class to get rid of. And like they were in debt up to their eyeballs. So basically these kids were
Yeah,
a paycheck for them.
exactly. By the way, hi, Robin, and hi, Queen Olive. Welcome, welcome. Yeah, I agree. This is one of those cases so few do know about and what, and there's a lot of things, in fact, like what Sleuth was just talking about. Hawaii does have some things that need to change in the laws. Right now, if you're going to foster or adopt or things, they only look at criminal history in the last 5 years. Okay, and I understand people change. People do change, and I strongly believe that. But you still do need to be aware of stuff that happens because not everyone does. And I'm not saying he did or he didn't or anything, but those are things that are important. If you're a parent and your child's being put into someone else's home, you want to know that those things have been looked into. So here is just to pull this up here. This is actually okay. Let me pull out a bit to show you guys. So when you guys see the Hawaii islands of Hawaii, here we go. Here's Hawaii. So, and where we're talking about is Oahu. Oahu is actually the main island when it comes to population. This is where Pearl Harbor is, Diamond Head, Waikiki, all that. Where they lived at the time was this area of Waimanalo. So you can kind of see this little city over on this area. There's a highway, kind of, I guess you could call it a highway that goes around the whole island. It's more like a road at that point. And but this is where they lived, and they lived on this street here, Puha Street. Now, just so you guys know, initially there was, yes, people knew there was a fence, Ariel's fence and stuff like that. Since then, there has been, and Sleuth Mom, I know you just pulled up an article on it. The house did go into escrow, right? You remember?
This says that it was sold as of today.
Sold.
This article
So
says
it's
sold.
actually through. Okay, got it. I knew it had sold and was in escrow. I just didn't know if it finished up. So I don't want anyone to go over to that place or anything. So we're just going to note the street itself. But this is actually the street where, okay, she lived, okay, at the time with the Kaluas and her siblings. So some of the things you're going to hear about as we talk about is, first of all, when she went missing, she was initially reported as missing by her adoptive parents. As Sleuth said, it was September 11th. And there were comments that, oh, at first she never wandered or anything like that. And later on that got changed to, oh, yeah, she was the type who would wander all the time. And they heard that night an alarm go off saying someone opened up the door. So they thought she had just gone outside. And I'll be honest, it's warm and stuff like that, but it didn't quite fit with a lot of what was going on. Okay, and I think that's where a lot of the questions started coming up. So basically, you can see where she could have been sleeping outside. But if you look at pictures of her, she had no, she was like me. She was as white, she was as Howley can get skin-wise, okay? She had no tan. She didn't show the things. Siblings, you could tell they had been outside playing more often and things like that. She was pretty, as I say, glow in the dark. Okay, very little, which did not quite make sense on that level. Now, two other things that happened that connect with this area is a couple things were found. And Sleuth, did you want to talk about the photo album and the backpack? And I can kind of pull up the areas as much as I can remember.
Yeah, absolutely. If you actually go straight down like that main road there, see the tennis courts? Wait,
Let's see here.
wait, back up. Go to the right.
Yeah. There we
See the
go.
tennis courts. Okay.
There we go.
So there's a dump around this area somewhere.
Yeah.
Is that it? The Waste Authority? Anyways.
Right up here. Nope, Housing Authority.
Housing
But
Authority.
we got the idea.
Okay, yeah, it's somewhere in that little area there. So what happened was they were searching for her. We're talking, her biological family may not have had custody for her, but they came out in full force. This community of Waimanalo came out in full force. They were searching and searching and searching, and they found at the dump area a photograph book, belonging to Ariel, and inside of it was pictures of her siblings, and things like that. And so I don't know if these items were specifically planted there, quote unquote, so that it could make it look like, yes, she did run away. One of the things that they were trying to allege was that she would stand outside and she would call out to her mother and hope that her mother would come and save her and things like that. And we find out later, which I know we're going to end up reading this, but her sister said that she would go out there and look and be out in the garage and different things because she was looking for food because they wouldn't feed her. And so anyways, so they find this photo album, and then down by the billows, they found a backpack that was full of her toys and a pair of her sandals. And so what I think honestly happened was, I think they either were planting the items to make it look like she did in fact run away, or whenever they took things to the dump, one of the people who searched through things at the dump maybe took these items out for some reason. And so they never got, in Hawaii, you guys incinerate your trash, correct?
Right.
Yeah, decoys to make them look for her.
Yeah.
And so,
yeah,
go ahead.
And this is just so you guys know, this is Bellows. Bellows itself is a beach park, as you can see here. And it's kind of split into two areas. You have the civilian side and the military side. And so I think that was found on the civilian side, but I may be wrong. I don't know, Justice, if you remember or not, the exact location. But this is a this beach park is extremely busy during weekends and stuff like that. So, let's see. But yeah, as decoys, I could totally see it being a decoy because it just did not, even, I'll be honest, there was a part of me that kept wondering, is this really tied or not to it? Because it just did not make sense to me.
Well, and I know that the person that found them was almost nervous to come forward at first and say that they found them because they didn't want to get accused of, being the person who took her or something along those lines. And so that was also frustrating in the beginning to get the true answers about what was going on. If you want to let me share my screen, I have a couple photos.
Yes. Perfect. I was just pulling those up too, but yours might be a little better because mine are, all mixed up.
Grabbed
mine are all kapakahi. So yeah. Let's see. Share. Oh, actually, have you shared them with me yet?
Oh, I totally didn't. Hold on.
No worries.
I guess that would help. Hold on.
That would help. Yes. Hello, Cassie. Okay. While she's sharing that, you can say hi. No, you want to go there. Okay.
Okay. Sorry.
Hello, Burden. How you doing, my dear? Love you.
So then I have. Okay. I thought that I had downloaded the photo of her last photo. But so this is a picture of whenever she was like kind of at one of the it's like a play facility where you would go to like have visits with your family, right? Through CPS.
Right.
And so this is one of the last visits that Melanie had with her whenever she was still getting visits with the children. And so you could see already though, before they had already cut her hair, which let me get.
Which actually ties to one of the
Let's
things
see.
I noticed in this case while you're doing that is there was almost a push to change who she was.
Right.
Okay, not just with way she looked and all, her name. She was always Ariel. Ariel Sellers. This little girl was Ariel until I think the adoption went through, wait, let me go to my notes. Sorry, February of 2021. And that's when they finally made the decision, oh, we're going to change not only your last name, but we're going to change your first name.
Yeah,
You're
everything
now
about her.
Isabella.
Mhm.
And, yeah. And you see people who do that with maybe a newborn or something, a child under a year, 2 years. But a child who's 4, 5, 6 years old to change their, yeah. So anyhow, yeah. But you can totally see if you look up in the upper corner right there, that's one of the last pictures with her family. Okay, her
Mhm.
biological family. And you could look at the chubby cheeks and stuff like that and see just how much she did change.
I thought it was gonna let me, like, flip through all of them, and it's apparently not, so give me 1
Here, I
second
think
'cause
that
it's
I
being
might be able
difficult.
to do that if you can't. I can do it let me see real quick if I can do this. They're just not in order, but I
I was gonna
think
say
I
I
can
could
do it.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay. So here are a bunch of pictures. So this is the last one that we have with the family and stuff like that. And I mean, you can look at, I've always believed you can look at a child's eyes and you can see so much and look at the happiness and stuff like that, the giggling, all that. This one here, not sure if it was Christmas or birthday. It's hard to look at, to be honest, to
Yeah,
see a child go to
she's
that.
so sick. Can you, like, zoom it just a tiny bit? 'Cause it's like a big
Yes.
black. There you
Oh,
go.
yeah. No, there you go. There you go. Much better. Thank you. Thank you. And so you can totally see where this little one was not getting the food and stuff like that, that anyone should get, much less a growing child. Okay. I know a lot of these were COVID,
Mhm.
but it was
This one,
also
you can
mass.
actually see her black eye whenever you zoom really far in.
Zoom really close.
Underneath
Yes.
Yeah, underneath the
Yep.
mask on the one side, you can see it's
Yep.
swollen and where she had been harmed.
And that's one thing we talk about with COVID. One of the problems we had with COVID was that I think abuse went up because there was no one actually watching and protecting our children in many
Right.
cases. And it was easy to hide. You put a
And
mask like that on a child.
it was easy to hide, but I will say that abuse was reported for Ariel long before
Big
COVID
time.
was a thing,
And nothing ever
sadly.
dealt with.
Welcome, Avery, to our Ohana.
Avery! Thank you, Avery, and welcome to our Ohana. Yes, yes, yes. Thank you and welcome, my dear. And let's see, what else do we have here? This is just another picture of her. I've always kind of liked this picture. I know you can already see changes occurring,
Mhm.
but another with the masks. And you can see where her legs, there's one coming up right here. So I was talking about color and stuff and about how, you know what, if a child's outside here okay, I'm sorry, but it doesn't matter what time of the year. Kids get suntanned. Okay, the reason why I'm as white as I am is because I don't go outside hardly ever. And you can look here with her and you can see the differences. And yes, a lot of us have different colors because our skin colors are different.
Mhm.
But you can see when a child has a tan versus something from melanin, and she didn't have that. Okay, you can see the weight loss, you can see the bagginess of clothes, things like that. Was she Seal? Was she 5 or 6? She was 6 at the time she disappeared.
You're going robot. I don't know if it's on my end or on yours.
It could be me for all I know. And I think that's the last picture. Let's see. Yeah, that's the last
I just
picture
sent you a few on Facebook too.
Oh,
if you
perfect. Let me go to that real quickly. And
You sound kind of cool, to be honest.
It must be me because Red Rock is even saying, are you being probably my internet, as long as I don't get kicked off like Monday. This is the other problem. Hawaii has the wonderful coconut wireless, even for our internet. And yeah, it's, oh my gosh. So, let's see. Let me come to Facebook. Sorry, gang. I closed most of my windows so that I wouldn't have too many windows going on.
It's okay.
By the way,
While you get
Sleuth
those
has a
pictures
great
up,
group.
if
Yes,
you want
you
me
can
to, I'll read this article about
go
the
for it.
abuse that they had found in the years prior. And so this one's is abuse reported years before Isabella Kalua's death. And for those of you guys who don't know, Isabella Kalua was her adopted name. I prefer to call her Ariel Sellers because that is the name that she was given at birth. And I don't think that these monsters deserve to change her identity just so that they could murder her. She was 6 years old at the time of her disappearance. She did have a birthday not too long after, but she was 6 whenever she went missing. And so that was on September 13th of 2021. Now that date changes slightly depending on which report you're looking at and things like that. The last time that she was physically seen was the 12th of September, according to their reports. Whenever they reported her missing. And so some things will say the 12th, some things will say the 13th, because the 13th is when they called the police at 6 a.m. Unfortunately, we found out based on the reports and the documents that we're going to go through tonight that she had actually been missing since August the 16th, and they hadn't ever reported her. And disturbingly enough, as if it doesn't get any worse, on the day that she was thought to have been deceased, the day that she was thought to have been murdered by her family, um, Lehua actually posted on Facebook, if they don't smile, wait, if they, how did she say it? Oh goodness, she posted something like, I'm gonna
I
have to
know
look
what
it
you're
up, but she
talking
posted
about.
something that was like really disturbing because it was like, if
Yeah, I
I don't know.
remember.
I don't know.
Oh, it's been
I'm
so
gonna look for the
long.
post because I know I have it. But she posted something that about the regards of somebody being gone and how they weren't missed, basically. And it was just really disturbing that she did that. And so this says Honolulu police documented allegations of abuse of Isabella Ariel Kalua, but took no action when Child Welfare Services received a report in 2019 that the girl was being beaten and starved by her foster parents more than 2 years before she is believed to have died. Oh, uh-oh. Is it gonna make me join? Oh my
Welcome
goodness.
to All News Station. Yes, exactly.
Hold on. I
And
know that
that's
there's
one.
other articles. But so basically what happened was somebody had been reporting that she was beaten and starved, basically. Let me get the other article. And so that was just weeks. I think it was like 6 weeks before or after she went to live in their home. Here it is. Here's a different one. Sorry about that. I should have checked it before I tried to
No
read it.
problem. There's so much. This is one of those stories that was very little out there initially, but it's picked up a little bit. And yeah,
Mhm.
Vicky, there's so much we need to change. And there's been some attempts to change the system, change laws since then. Unfortunately, not all of them have passed.
I was gonna say, yeah.
Yeah, very unfortunately, but we're going to keep pushing. I know her family is pushing and they won't stop. I guarantee you that. I mean, they've got her back. So,
Yeah.
hey,
So
Jill.
it says, um, Hawaii News Now has learned of 3 separate abuse investigations involving a Waimanalo couple now accused of killing a 6-year-old girl they fostered then adopted. Isabella Ariel Kalua was adopted on January 2021 by Lehua and Isaac Kalua, or they call him Sonny. But the couple had been her foster parents for years prior. The first investigation triggered a Honolulu Police Department response on July 22nd of 2019. The report says a child welfare service caseworker turned over reports to HPD about a possible abuse, but the case was quickly closed. Literally, they closed this investigation within 24 hours. And what it was somebody had called in and said that they had witnessed that she was getting punched and starved. And within 24 hours, they opened and they closed it. absolutely disgusting. I don't know how you can just open and close a report that quickly. It
It's
just it mind
inexcusable.
blew me. Mm-hmm.
You don't even have time to write up a report in 24 hours, much less actually investigate. So,
Exactly.
yeah.
And so it says, after thorough review of the circumstances, it was determined that there will be no action taken by HPD in this case, the report synopsis said. The document continued and said the welfare of the child would be best met by the actions of CWS instead of the HPD, and said the caseworker had made contact with the children. The record said the child was well cared for. Now, here's the problem. This caseworker was friends with this family. And so it was forwarded from HPD to the caseworker that was friends with this family, and it was brushed under a rug. So former foster parent and child advocate Stephen Lane has said that CWS should have also passed on the records to family court. Reported to the judge, Lane said, had they done so, a judge in family court in Ariel's case would have appointed a special master to investigate those allegations. A second abuse investigation happened 3 months later in October of 2019. The girl suffered a broken finger, which wasn't reported quickly, sources told Hawaii News Now.
Treated.
The
Oh,
Kaluas
sorry, I was going to say they didn't even get treatment for it right away either,
Right.
if I recall.
Right.
Yeah.
The Kaluas responded by saying the siblings slammed the girl's hand in a door accidentally. A multidisciplinary panel reviewed the case and determined there was no maltreatment. 3 months later, in January of 2020, Isabella Ariel Kalua had a broken leg. Then the adoptive parents said in that case she was hurt on a trampoline. Again, a multidisciplinary panel made up of experts, including doctors, determined no maltreatment. Lane said the use of panels were a sign. A multidisciplinary team is only convened when they suspect abuse. It's a clear red flag to me that CPS considered that there was abuse taking place on at least 2 occasions. And then they left these kids there. They put them back in this home, and they just left them there. And literally, guys, I have a video of her dragging her leg behind her, walking across the parking lot and into family court. And it's disturbing to me that they just left it go and left it go.
Well, it's frustrating because, and like I said before, okay, not all systems are like this. And it's not even everyone. I know some people here in Hawaii and DCFS who have hearts of gold that all they want to do is what's best. So when I'm saying these things, I'm talking about specific incidents. But for example, in a nursing home, if you have someone who has fallen more than once in a certain time period, you're upping the ante on what do I need to do to make sure this person is safe. You've got a child here who has had 2 broken bones, and not that that doesn't happen. It does happen. But you're looking at it deeper. You're trying to find out, okay, could there some, people aren't always going to tell the truth. What else do I need to look into on this? Okay, what do I need to make sure that nothing happens again? Because if you think about it, okay, you have the broken finger in October 2019. You have a broken, leg, January 2020. And then you have a girl losing her life, in the summer, most likely, of 2021. It was working its way up higher and higher. It was getting more and more dangerous each time. So, here, I got those pictures
some of those
for you,
pictures,
though.
yeah, I was going to say, so this one is Easter, one of the first years that she was there. And I blurred the photos whenever I put this out, because obviously I don't want to put out her sister's faces.
Yes.
But every other child in this picture was smiling. And as you can see, Ariel is not. But not only that, she has a bruise on her arm. Her lip has a cut of some sort on it. And she has a black eye. All in this one picture on Easter Sunday.
Exactly. Let me make sure I get this. Okay, here we go.
So this one was the last photo that was taken by her grandparents before she went to foster care system. She had nice colored skin. She was clearly happy. She had long, beautiful hair. And this is the last time that you really see a light in her eyes in her photos.
Yep.
So this one, again, you showed this one, but this is kind of a closer up of her after the adoption. These were taken, I think it was the first week of February, during a party that they had to celebrate the fact that the adoption was complete for at least the older children. Now the baby still had not been adopted, and so that has honestly caused a lot of issues for the family trying to get custody of all of the children and things like that. I believe at this point the baby has actually been adopted out to a different family.
I think that's it that you sent me. Yeah, that's it. That's it. So, let's see. So yeah, no, it's real. I know there were some questions being popped up in chat. Where was the first excuses for the okay, Jill, the first excuse for the finger was that her hand had been slammed in a door. Okay, and as for the leg, it was a trampoline accident. They had a yard, kids on trampoline, and she broke her leg on the trampoline. So those were the two excuses given for that. As for foster care, you want to go ahead and give that one, Sleuth?
So she went into foster care because unfortunately her biological family, her mom was into drugs. I mean, honestly, she still has issues with drugs as far as I know. And it's really, really sad because that is something that it seems like a lot of people suffer from in that area specifically. And
Yeah.
also she was homeless, and with the price of housing and things like that and there it's really hard to afford somewhere to live.
Yeah.
And so it's one of those situations where it seemed like every time that Melanie would start to get back onto her feet, something would kick her back down. And there was a long time period after the search for Ariel started that she honestly did try and start to get cleaned. And then I think whenever she found out they were arrested and all of those things, like it just, I mean, it took her breath away. You know,
Yeah.
it normal people going
Would
through a
have had a
situation like
problem.
this who have never struggled with addiction, um, likely would have had issues with this.
Yeah.
And so,
Yeah, Hawaii, to just support what you're saying, Hawaii has a really, really bad problem with drug usage, especially meth. Meth is very, I don't know what drug of choice was, but it's extremely, very, very high here in Hawaii. We also, maybe because of the temperate climate, whatever it is, there's a lot of people who are homeless. You've got temperate climate, extremely high cost of living out here, extremely high. And for families, it's actually, there's certain beaches I can go to, and the beaches are nothing but homeless families, because it's a place that families can come together and make sure their children are safe, and because they don't have a place to live. So it is something that we fight as a community out here
yeah.
when it comes to. And yeah, dealing with that, if you're trying to deal with anything and get back where you need to be, and you're having to deal with what happened to your daughter, what happened to children, things like that, that's hard for anyone. It is.
Right.
Vicky did ask, and I know you know a little bit more about this than I do, actually. I haven't gotten an update in a while, but Jill was wondering. Oh, wait. Oh, okay. We're going to get into this question, Jill. I'm going to actually bring up the documents next from the court. But the question was about the other siblings and where they are now.
So what I can say about the other siblings, because I do know some stuff that, you know, isn't for everyone, but they are separated. So whenever all of this happened, some of the siblings, out of the 5 children that Melanie had, 4 of them went to live at the Kalua's home, and 1 went to go live with family. Unfortunately, even the one with family has been removed, and it was back in the system. So we had 4 of the 5 children all within the system, and they are all separated out. I'm pretty sure the baby at this point has been adopted into a new family. And the older sister, unfortunately, was in a group home for quite some time. And I do believe that she is now somewhere safe as well. And so it's just, it's sad, but yes, for the most part, the children did get separated. And the oldest sister really bothers me because of what you guys are about to hear in these documents. And just honestly, she needs so much love and prayers and support and all the things. So we'll
Right.
get to those
Right.
though.
You know, Sleuth, I was just going to type this in private chat, but it might be quicker to ask here. I'm going to pull this up. I have it large on my screen. If you have it large on your screen, you and I can go back and forth reading it. If not, I can read it and we can just
No,
stop.
that's fine.
Okay, perfect. So anyhow, this is a couple of the reasons why we are covering this, other than the fact that both Sleuth and I, this is a case that has been extremely close to both of our hearts. Tomorrow is going to be an important date, as there is going to be an update at court about this. And then on May 1st, if everything goes as planned, the trial will start. I know I've had a lot of people asking, Sleuth has had it too, will they be streaming it? Hawaii does not stream these things. They did a little bit during COVID, but that's been stopped again. So we'll find ways to get information to people, because I know a lot of people do care and they want to know what's going on, especially as we read this stuff out. So anyhow, this is all the information that came out, okay, when they arrested the Lehuas. Okay, so now that we've kind of been through everything, we'll kind of go through this. Sorry, so that was the arrest, the warrant for the arrest, and now the affidavit. So Detective Alan Oku of the Honolulu Police Department, first duly sworn under, kind of skip most of that. So they are being brought up on the offense of murder in the second degree. Red Rock, thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you. The facts tending to establish the grounds for the issuance of this warrant of arrest for said, this is Lehua's. Okay, and Sonny has also been brought up also. Okay, so let's take it down here so we can get into the actual stuff. Okay. On September 13th at around 2021 at around 6:25 a.m., HPD officer Joel Patterson was sent to the address on a report of a missing person. Upon his arrival at the scene, Officer Patterson met with Isabella Kalua, who identified herself as the adoptive mother of the missing person, Isabella Kalua, IK from now on, also known as Ariel Sellers, a 6-year-old female minor born in 2014. Lehua informed Officer Patterson that she had last seen Isabella, Ariel, at approximately 9 p.m. on September 12th, when she went to bed in her own room. When Lehua awoke on September 13th, she noticed that the side door of the house was ajar, and when she went to check Ariel's room, she found that she was missing. Lehua described,
because
yes,
you're roboting again.
That's good. Oh no! Oh no! Oh
You
no!
were okay
Coconut
with when you just
wireless.
started.
Do it.
Yep. Okay,
And
so let me
also,
go. Lehua described Ariel as being 3'3", weighing approximately 46 pounds, and stated that she was last seen wearing a black hoodie, black leggings, multicolored sock, black Nike brand slides with pink soles. This has always been my pet peeve in every missing case ever since this. If I ever hear that a child was sleeping with their shoes on, it's like automatically, because Cody Bigsby, same thing.
Yep.
Went to sleep with the shoes on. Okay,
Yep.
sorry. Lehua
No
further related that in the past, Ariel would go out to the garage unnoticed and sometimes fall asleep there. Per Lehua, Ariel would also open the house windows purportedly to talk to someone outside, but no persons were observed talking to her. On occasion, Ariel would leave doors unlocked, which Lehua explained to her was dangerous. Lehua informed Officer Patterson that their door sensor was activated at approximately 1:30 a.m. on September the 13th of 2021. Lehua stated that they have a camera system installed, but that it constantly crashes and goes off and on. Responding HPD officers, along with Ariel's family members and members of the general public, checked the area surrounding the house in numerous locations in the Waimanalo area, but were unable to locate the missing child. Lehua identified Ariel's biological parents as Melanie Joseph and Adam Sellers, who, to her knowledge, were homeless and living in the Waimanalo area. At this time, actually, Adam was in prison, and he actually got released right whenever the searches and stuff were going on for her, and was able to go out and try to help search. So,
Right.
do you want to try to talk?
Okay, we could go back and forth. Well, actually, let's do that. That way no one gets tired of one voice. And also, Lehua and her husband, Isaac Kalua, also known as Sonny, adopted 3 of the biological children of Joseph and Sellers, including certain names. They are also the foster parents of AJ, who is another biological child of Joseph and Sellers. Pursuant to a search warrant approved and signed by the Honorable Karen Homa and documented, received records from, the records indicated that they began residing with the 2 in February of 2019. Hello, Cupcake. The CWS records also included an adoption decree filed on February 11th, 2021. The decree indicated that it was effective January 26, 2021. Okay, you want to do the next page and we'll just switch on and off on pages at that point.
Yepers. Sounds good. Okay, so on September 13th, HPD officers located Ariel's biological mother, Joseph, who indicated that she had no knowledge of Ariel's whereabouts. Joseph related that Sellers was currently residing at a residential treatment facility, which was later confirmed by Detective Michael Garcia. Both Joseph and Sellers denied any involvement in the disappearance of IPK, which is Ariel. On September 13th at approximately 3:38 p.m., Detective Ryan Cayo? Okay, Ryan Cayo conducted a recorded interview with Lehua, who provided background information background of their family and recounted the events that led up to Ariel's disappearance. Lehua provided the following information to the detective regarding the events of September 12th and September 13th. On the evening of September 12th, they ate dinner together after the girls played for a while. They went riding to get out of the house but did not stop anywhere. Ariel seemed fine with no issues, no tantrums, and went to bed at approximately 9 p.m. wearing a hoodie and leggings, which she normally wore to sleep. Lehua went to her room at about the same time, but returned to Ariel's room approximately 20 minutes later and saw that Ariel was asleep. Lehua woke up between 5:50 a.m. on September 13th and discovered that the side door of the house was closed but unlocked. She went to Ariel and her older sister's room, where she observed that IMK was asleep in her bed, but Ariel was not there.
Lehua woke her sister up and asked her where her sister was, but she stated she did not know. Lehua further stated that her sister was a heavy sleeper. They then searched both the interior and exterior of the house, but were unable to locate Ariel. Isaac then left with the kids to drive around the area while Lehua called the police. Lehua further stated that a neighbor stated she saw a silver car leaving the driveway around 1 a.m., but that the neighbor thought it was a family member of the Kaluas. Lehua stated that lately Ariel has been going outside of the house every day or every other day, and that she would say that she's waiting for her mom to come get her. On September 20th, 2021, around 2:04 p.m., the affiant conducted a recorded interview with Isaac, who was read his constitutional rights in the presence of his attorney, William Harrison, after which he agreed to waive his rights and provided a statement. Isaac related the following information. A, he could not recall exact times or details, but remembered that on the 12th, Lehua took the 2 girls out in their Lexus while he stayed home with the others. Lehua returned in the afternoon with the 2 girls and they ate dinner sometime before 6 p.m. He did not recall anyone in the family leaving the house that evening.
I really don't understand how these families think that whenever there's other children, that they're ever going to get away with stuff like this. Because it's just like, did they really think that all of the kids were going to stay quiet? And granted, older sis did stay quiet for a little while. But like, what's in the dark always comes to light. Like, they were never going to get away with this unless they eliminated all of her siblings too.
Right.
And that's just the honest to goodness truth.
Yeah. When you've got a case of abuse, there's so much intimidation and bullying and stuff like that going on. They think they've got complete control over everything that's happening.
You know what they did to
the
Big
longer
Sis for
they're
her?
away.
Go ahead. You know what
No,
they
no,
did
go
with
for it.
Big Sis for her interview? They sent one of the uncles, the adoptive uncles, one of the big, muscular, tatted up uncles
Yeah.
in with her for her interview, and I really think that it was to make sure she didn't talk.
Oh,
I
yeah.
will never not believe that her uncles, the adoptive uncles, not the biological, I will never believe that they didn't know anything, especially the one who was living in the home.
Oh,
And
yeah.
that's where I I have a hard time with that though, because I know at the same time, there are cases like people will never believe that Harley had nothing to do with Gannon. And so I understand why people feel like that because of how I feel about these uncles. You know what I
Mhm.
mean?
No,
Sorry.
exactly. No, I get you. It doesn't make any sense. More people knew about it, but it's just this everyone, and I think this is true not just in Hawaii, but a lot of locations, especially small town type things. They come in and they cover and for each. There's a lot of that happens, and it's
Mhm.
sad because it's not right at all. So,
Absolutely.
yeah.
Sorry. Okay,
Okay,
so
you got this page. Whoops, there we go.
he last saw Ariel at approximately 7 p.m. in the kitchen with Lehua. He went to bed sometime between 8 and 8:30 and did not wake up until 6:30 a.m. on September 13th when he heard Lehua screaming that Ariel was missing. After checking around the house for Ariel, he left in their Lexus to drive around the area while Lehua contacted police.
So,
Isaac stated that he went to work on August 19. He was scheduled to be off on August 20. August 21, he woke up feeling ill and went to the emergency room for treatment. He was seen for possible COVID symptoms. This is important because this is when they cleaned up and got rid of everything. He literally took off work. He further stated he took vacation from work for approximately 2 weeks from August 21st until September 7th as a result of that doctor's visit. Isaac denied any involvement in the disappearance of Ariel. On September 13th, video surveillance was recovered from the Kalua residence. Ariel was last seen on surveillance cameras on August 18th. I think I said the 16th earlier. I'm so sorry, you guys. She was last seen on cameras August 18th, 2021. On November 5th, so it took all the way until November 5th before the older sister spoke up. So November 5th at approximately 1:30 p.m., Detective Shane uh, c- conducted a recorded interview with her big sister. Her big sister related the following information. She state that she was asked to keep a secret by Lehua and Isaac regarding what happened to Ariel. Big Sis stated that the secret was that Ariel was in the bathroom in a dog cage, duct tape on her mouth and nose, and that she didn't wake up.
she further stated that the two smaller children, Isaac and Lehua, were sleeping when they got up at 3:32 in the morning. Lehua and she went to check on Ariel in the bathroom, and Ariel didn't wake up. She then was told to go back to sleep. So her big sister was told to go back to sleep, and Isaac and Lehua stayed up. She does not know where they put Ariel the next morning. She also stated that she was asked to keep the secret around 2 months ago and that she knows Ariel is dead because she was there. She stated she was there because her parents woke her up. After being woken up, she went into the bathroom and saw that Ariel had duct tape on her nose and mouth, and she was not breathing. Lehua then filled the bathtub with water and put Ariel in it to see if she would wake up, but it did not work. Her big sister, then had to carry Ariel to her bedroom. With regards to the bathtub, she explained that they took Ariel out of the cage and put her in the bathtub, but she still did not wake up. According to her big sister, Lehua woke up first and then woke up Isaac. At the time, she, Lehua, Isaac, and the rest of the family were the only ones at home. According to her, after Lehua filled the bathtub and Ariel would not wake up, Lehua then drained the bathtub, and a few days later, Isaac went to Kaiser to, quote, pretend that he had COVID. She stated that she knew Isaac was pretending because she knows that he took off work to, quote, help mom. When asked why Isaac would need to help mom, she stated, quote, to get rid of the stuff, evidence, end quote.
It's so, I don't know.
Yeah, it's hard to. I just think about this poor girl. This is her sister. This is her sibling. This is that tie. We've all had, if you have a sibling, you have that sibling tie. And to be asked to do something like this and then to hold it in secret, my
Right.
heart breaks for her because she'll live with this the rest of her life. And she should never have had to live with anything like this. So,
Right.
yeah, sorry.
No,
Yeah.
it's okay. I don't know.
Yeah.
I guess that's where they're saying he went COVID. I know that the one uncle was supposedly at his girlfriend's house that evening whenever she died, and that would be why he wasn't able to go home because Isaac had COVID. But I don't know. I still
It gave
struggle with
them,
it.
yeah, by having COVID, it gave them the ability to organize
And to hide. Yep.
getting, yeah. And because this was, you got to realize this was that height of COVID. Just saying you had COVID and were testing positive or something at home was enough to make people be like, even if the hospital was like, oh no, you don't have it. Okay, workplaces are going to be like, I don't care, don't come in. You're off for a week. That's especially here in Hawaii. We were so over protective of COVID out here. We were one of the
Right.
last to take masks away, things like that. So yeah.
Louisiana girl, you're pocket modding just before you do
Poor
it too many times.
LG. Poor LG. Yeah.
She deleted Savage's kissy fates, by the way. Savage.
We love you, Savage. I love you
Oh,
guys.
man.
Oh my God.
Okay, so it says Big Sis stated that when Lehua bought the dog cage via the internet, she was there. The family did not have a dog at the time. Big Sis stated that Lehua bought the dog cage because Ariel would sneak around at night and want to eat because she was hungry. She was hungry because Lehua would not feed her. Big Sis tried to sneak food to Ariel on occasions, but Lehua would catch them and become upset. So Lehua bought the cage to keep Ariel inside of at night. Lehua put duct tape on Ariel plenty of times because Ariel would sneak around and eat. Big Sis stated she believes the duct tape came from Isaac's job and that Isaac had seen both Ariel and Big Sis tied up with duct tape on other occasions and did nothing. A 911 calling systems showed there was no call made on 911 A 911 calling systems showed that there was no call made to 911 dispatch from the time period of August 1st until September 12th from either Lehua or Isaac regarding an emergency at their home. Pursuant to search warrants approved and signed by that judge on October 15th, Eurofient received medical records from the following health centers, and it names all of the health care places in the area. The records included the time period from February 2019 until September 13th of 2021. None of the records showed that Ariel had any visits to either the emergency rooms or their respective
health centers during the time period.
Yeah, sorry. I was like,
no problem. It's like, wait, what do we do here? Which is because during that time, we now know there were other things going on. Okay. If something had happened, they should have taken her, even if it was an accident. And no, it was just this idea, let's hide everything. So surveillance video recovered from the residence on September 13th showed other family members of the family members, including Lehua, Isaac, big sister, Ariel, and AJ about the residents at various times after August 18th to and including September 13th. Actually, Ariel is not on that list. Sorry, too many eyes. And so surveillance video is catching everyone else, but it's not catching Ariel. And and then it just closes up at this point that all this was pulled together, and this is how they were able to make a decision to charge both of them with
I was
murder.
gonna say that was Big Sis, the sister right under Ariel, and then the baby.
Baby, which gives us
The
closer
two,
and closer.
yeah, the two were adopted with Ariel, but the baby still wasn't because she was still young.
Okay. Yes. And so that's that info. Let me actually stop that up and bring us up to here. And so that is actually the last bit of official information that came from the courts.
Yeah.
There's been a lot of other things. We still haven't found her. And what frustrates me is living in Hawaii. One of the things we get used to here is the fact that so many people, when they go missing, whether it is due to crime or going out to the ocean or whatever, the water can become, and I don't know if this is the case in this case. I know with Peter Boy, this is what happened. Okay. He was laid to rest. I'm going to use that because I can't come up with a word that I can actually say, okay, without getting upset. But it was the water. So his family now, when they want to visit him, they know, luckily they found out where that happened and they can go to that place. But right now, these two are not speaking up. They're not saying what they did. Anyone else who might know is not saying anything. You've got family members. You've got a mom. You've got a dad. You've got aunties, uncles. You've got siblings who would love to be able to go and honor their loved one the way we do here in Hawaii. Okay. I mean, when I go with my dad, I take food and I go over to Punch Bowl and I have a picnic with my dad. That's what we do here. And no one has that ability when it comes to Ariel because people won't open up their mouth and tell what actually happened, except for one extremely, extremely brave girl who actually stood up for her sister. Yeah. Sorry.
No, it's okay. I get the same way. Like I get very emotional with this case. I really do.
Yeah.
I
I know.
honestly, honest to God, like this case taught me about boundaries a little bit because I let her weigh in, way in. I let her family weigh in. And
That's
it's
because
a
you have that
struggle, you know.
heart.
I still talk to her auntie periodically, you know, checking in to see how the other kids are, how everything's going, you know, what we can do, what we need, you know, things like that. And it's devastating because Sonny worked at the docks. There's a very good chance that he could have even just took her to work with him, which we know he took off work, but he would have had access to areas to just go straight to the water,
Oh,
like
yeah.
you're saying. And it's just, besides that, the way that Hawaii's trash is and things like that, with her items being found at the dump,
Yeah.
they incinerate everything.
I'm going to bring this back up. This is what I mean by water. Okay. This here, Waimanalo, this whole area here is cliffs and the ocean. I'll be honest, every time I go down, I have friends and family who belong to the Elks Club here, and I've shared pictures with you guys before. They have a little memorial to those who are lost. And for others, it's people who are lost at sea due to ships and things like that. For me, it's those who are truly lost, okay, who have disappeared and all. And it's sad. You look at the ocean and it's hard knowing that could be a final resting place. But if
Yeah.
they would just open up their mouth and tell
And
people,
just say.
yeah, just say. And maybe that'll happen after the court
I
case. I doubt it,
I've always
but I
hoped that they
hope.
would turn on each other, and that sounds horrible, but
Yeah,
I really think that Lehua was the primary abuser in
yeah,
this case. Even Big Sis said that Sonny would come home and see that she had them duct taped and things like that. I really think that she just abused the heck out of these kids, and that he just kinda left it happen because he was just sitting back to watch, like, he just didn't want bothered with it or whatever. And
right.
I've always hoped that they would, separate the cases even, I don't know, and
Mhm.
just let him roll on her. Let him say
Yeah,
where like, something, and I don't want them to get a plea deal, I don't, but at the same time, like, I know that her family wants that closure. I know that that
yeah,
community needs the closure for what they did with her. So we're talking about this tonight, though, you guys, because tomorrow is the status conference hearing, and I'm hoping that we can get some type of updates from somebody about what happens tomorrow. And I'm praying, I need every single one of you guys that are listening to pray too, that they do not push this court hearing back again. It's going to suck trying to run 3, 4 trials at once for me, but
yeah,
I would much rather run 14 at a time if I had to get this case to go to justice because it has been pushed back far, far
too
too many
much.
times.
Yep. There's no reason why at this point it needs to be pushed back any further. Okay, I'm sure there will be tries, but at some point, someone just has to say, no, this is enough. You've had enough time to prepare for it. Um, I know I talk about all the time Ohana, and yes, you've got the Lilo Stitch side of, but Ohana is real. And that's what we've got to remember with this. There is a full family here, okay, that is missing their baby girl. And there are they deserve, Ariel deserves justice. Okay, the family deserves justice. And people make their decisions on what they're going to do in life. Okay, and yes, we're not judge, jury, no. We are stating what we've seen, things like this. Okay, and the jury will make the final decision, but we need to get it to the jury. The other thing we need to do, and I know Sleuth has been behind this, justice for Ariel. I know you guys have been busting your butt for this. There are changes that need to happen to our system. Okay, we need to get some things put into place. That way, those people who are working for, okay, child protective services and things like that have the backup from the law to say, no, I need to be checking this out because the law is telling me I have to do this. And because right now it's not there for them. Okay, right now there's a lot of things that are just kind of left up loosey goosey. And when it comes down to it, it puts the poor caseworkers, okay, that really have their heart in a bad place because they want to support. And I'm okay, yeah, there's some bad apples out there too, but the ones who are good apples, they want to support. But if the law isn't giving them the ability to do it, we need to help them make sure they can. And that happens every single one of our communities, not just Hawaii. We've done whole series about how we need to work and make changes, whether it be locally, nationally, whatever. But look and support your local areas and find out we are going into an election year. This is it. So, and maybe that's something we can talk in the future, what they've done with it, because I know we're going to do some more follow-ups on this case in the next few weeks. And Sleuth and I are going to have to try to figure out what we're going to talk about for those. So, sorry, Puppy wants me. Does Puppy know I'm getting upset? You got it. But yeah, no, hopefully justice for Ariel. I don't know if you guys know if anyone's going to be reporting out what happens tomorrow. And yeah, we'll talk because I know a lot of us really care right now, and we just want to make sure that it's being heard correctly, and it needs to be heard at this point. So because there are a lot of people. I walk around town. Sleuth Mom hears this. I'll say people, when I talk to them about having a channel, I'll start talking about Ariel. And there's a lot of people out there who are remembering her name, and they're wanting to make sure she gets her justice too.
I'm so glad that you're there, and I really do hope that, like, you're able to figure out something about the court. Even if you're able to be there, like, a couple times a week would be amazing.
I'm going to try to figure something out with work and all that, because I really would like to be able to pull something off. Thank you, Justice for Ariel. Tomorrow's going to be a big day. So those of you who pray, those of you who do positive energy, that's what we do. Yes, Grandma Sherry, she knew I needed my puppy at that time. I was like, okay. And also, so I don't know. Do you have anything else, Sleuth, you wanted to share?
No, just if you guys are interested, like, as far as, like, the sleuthing of the case goes, from whenever it first started, obviously I had a playlist that I made for this case. I need to honestly just go and add your videos, Locomai, and Savage's. Savage was in here. I'm not sure if she is still here, but Savage did some of the best little 15-minute videos on this case that had, like, she had details in hers that I didn't even have. From the very first, like, if you want to know about this is what happened week 1, this is what happened week 2, like, Savage has a couple videos like that, and they were really, really good. Honestly, I want to try to see. I know she's working right now, like, a lot, but she is one of the ones too that was on this with us really early on. And see, here's
there
what
she
happened.
is. She's still here.
A lot of people covered this after the adoptive monsters were arrested. There's not very many that covered it before.
Day one. Yep. Yeah, there are very few of us were actually on within that first couple days, but there definitely were people here who did cover it. By the way, I just shared in chat the playlist. Yeah, Sleuth's playlist is really Sherry did too. She's the bomb. And also guys, please go there. She's got really great information. Facebook, like she was saying, there's a Facebook group on this. And you know what? We see this. Okay, we talk about covering cases to bring people home. Sometimes it's covering cases so we can bring attention to those cases for justice. And that's where we are now. So, yeah.
And the link that I dropped is it's a link to Savage's part 1, day 1 video. And so it's a 6-minute video, and it literally shows, like, okay, this is what the searchers were doing. This is what the locals were doing and all that. And it's 6 minutes. And so that's what I mean by, like, she has a couple really quick informative videos on this case that really just puts it out there. And so I just need to go and add them to the playlist, to be completely honest. But until I do that, there's her link and there's her channel.
You got it. That's kind of nice when we do that. We did that with the internet safety thing. We put all of our videos into one, so people had one centralized place. So I like that idea.
Yep.
So, okay. Well, Sleuth. Okay. I've said it from the beginning. This is the case that brought you and me together. Okay. It brought you and, Savage together. Then you brought me and Savage together. So everything came down to this case. And here we are a year and a half later, almost. And we're all still together. We're all still supporting each other and trying to bring attention to those people who need the attention brought to them. And, but I want to thank you because you've actually helped me tremendously over the last year and a half, just teaching me how to work my way. I know you earlier made the comment about me teaching you StreamYard, but I've also appreciated you've kind of helped me figure out how to do what I'm doing on another side, just communication side. So, but yeah, next week we'll be over on your channel, Sleuth, right?
Sure. Yeah, we will.
Yeah. Maybe. So, and hopefully we'll have good news.
Yes,
good news. Yeah. So. Okay.
Love you guys.
Anything else? Love y'all tons. Bye-bye. I do not want to leave studio. I need to end the broadcast. Bye, guys.
Good night,
Aloha.
everyone.